WBC think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you, the WBC, and you got the green belt, which don't mean it, and real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
Can you talk about the difficulty of this decision?
Yes, it's very sad. It is very complicated to have to vacate a title, to withdraw recognition of a champion hurts very deeply.
And this is what TKO is saying. Why do you have to pay them? Don't pay them. Don't adhere to their crazy rules.
$300,000. What makes you so motherfucking better than any of the other sanctioned bodies? Huh? To that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Can take the fucking belt. It's a trophy anyway.
On the WBC super lightweight, then he unified and became undisputed in welterweight against WBC champion, who was Spence, in a great fight. He petitioned to fight a final elimination bout in super welterweight against Madrid Mob and remain champion in welter. The WBC supported him. He did not comply with the rules. Then he moves up to super middle and makes the fight of the century, beats Canelo, makes $50 million or around that. The WBC absolutely is not going to charge 3% of such an amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000.
Terence Crawford isn't staying quiet anymore. This time, he's taking direct aim at the WBC, boldly questioning who they think they are, and why they believe they deserve more than everyone else. Crawford made it clear he's not buying into the idea that the WBC stands above the rest of boxing's sanctioning bodies. In his view, organizations like the WBA, IBF, and WBO operate under similar authority. So why should one demand significantly higher fees? That's the issue that set him off. The tension traces back to his blockbuster showdown with Canelo Alvarez, after which WBC President Mauricio Suleiman reportedly sought a staggering $300,000 in sanctioning fees. Crawford didn't hesitate to push back. He flat-out rejected the demand, insisting that what he earns inside the ring is his business, not an open vault for anyone to dip into. He pointed out that the other major governing bodies handled their percentages quietly and professionally, sticking to standard agreements without turning it into a spectacle. But according to Crawford, the WBC attempted to go further, allegedly suggesting numbers that could climb as high as 6% in certain scenarios. For Crawford, it's not just about money, it's about principle. And he's made it clear he's not afraid to challenge the system if he feels it crosses the line.
You know, and guess who gotta pay for it? Us fighters. We paying for y'all to come out here, have the time of y'all life, stay in the best hotels of y'all life, and it's all done on our dime. It's done on our dime. Do that sound right to y'all? It's crazy, ain't it? We the one out there getting battered, knocked upside our head, and every time we step foot in the ring, we gotta pay them a sanction fee like they the government. We getting taxed.
And shady as you can possibly get. And for the WBC to do this now, when sanctioning bodies are under attack, when the sanctioning system is under attack, this is a glaring example about why maybe they shouldn't exist. Maybe they shouldn't be in boxing if you are going to reach into the pocket of a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, ask for $100,000. According to Shakur, there's been no comment on this from the WBC. I asked for one. I talked to a member of their staff and said, tell me what's going on here. And all I've seen is the Instagram post of the WBC saying they were stripping him. To reach into the pocket of a fighter for a fight that you have nothing to do with and asking for $100,000. I don't care how much money Shakur Stevenson made that night. That's his money. That belongs in his pocket. The WBC had nothing to do with it. It is disgusting, disgusting that they stripped Shakur Stevenson of that belt. And Shakur would be right to never fight for a WBC belt.
I think Terence Crawford's well within his rights to say that I ain't giving you $300,000. Why? Like, why am I giving you $300,000? What for? And don't talk about my past. Like Mauricio Sullivan saying Terence Crawford made 50 million. What's that got to do with you? No. And what I like as well about Terence, he said, look, I gave the IBF money, I gave the WBA money, I gave the WBO money. We haven't heard any of those organizations moan about the amount Terence Crawford gave to them. They're like, oh, we'll take it. Because ultimately, what are they doing? Apart from strapping a belt around your waist, what are they doing? And we'll get to that as well. So he then tried to give the WBC that amount of money as well. They clearly said, no, we're not taking that. We want a bit more. And then they're like, okay, normally we take 3%, but 3% of 50 million would have been too much. So you know what? We'll give you, we'll allow you to pay us 0.6%.
And be ruled inactive at that weight class. So despite nobody beating Shakur Stevenson, he is a undefeated fighter. Nobody took his belt, but for whatever reason, the WBC has decided him moving up has created some type of void and have now made and declared his title vacant, allowing the division to successfully move forward with new contenders. So in this case, Stevenson, he didn't lose his belt in the ring. Nobody beat him. He's still undefeated. The title was vacated administratively, which is a difference. And we need to establish the facts from the fiction. So nobody beat Stevenson. It doesn't really hurt his career, his official box rec, and it says he's suspended by the commission indefinitely. So I'm not sure if he has some type of injury, but usually when it says indefinitely, they got to get clearance from a doctor to come back. And again, this could be possibly from his fight with Shakur Stevenson. So this is a developing story, and we'll see ultimately how it plays out, what the WBC officially decides to do in terms of who's next and what's next. So what are the facts? What does this mean? Shakur Stevenson was not stripped for any type of misconduct. Shakur was not penalized per se, and Shakur Stevenson is not suspended. So it simply reflects the WBC has considered him no longer active at lightweight at this time. A bit political. That's the only thing that I can think of.
Shakur Stevenson blast WBC and responds to being stripped of a 135-pound title. This is a bit wild. It's a bit wild. And the reason it's a bit wild, there's so many different reasons actually. But one of the biggest reasons is that Shakur has always said, I want to go up to fight Tio, but I want to come back down to 135. So basically, he's almost telling the WBC, let me go up there, I will come back down. And with what the WBC are going through right now, and this battle with Zuffa, where, you know, they've got some real big players and power over there, and they're saying F the belts, and WBC are fighting, saying no, the belts mean stuff. The last thing you want to do is have a public spat, a public back and forth with one of the biggest names in boxing right now. Now, Shakur Stevenson is one of the biggest names in boxing. And the thing about Shakur as well, you piss him off, this guy will go straight to social media and make it known that he's pissed off, and that's what he's done.
The real storm centers around one undeniable fact. Shakur Stevenson is still unbeaten. He didn't lose his belt in the ring. He didn't break any rules. He didn't get stopped, outboxed, or outworked. Yet somehow, he no longer holds the title. Instead of being dethroned by an opponent, his lightweight championship was declared vacant by the WBC after he temporarily moved up in weight. The official explanation? Inactivity in the 135-pound division. Not defeat. Not misconduct. Just paperwork. That decision immediately raised eyebrows across the boxing world. Many observers labeled the move as more bureaucratic than competitive, and possibly influenced by politics behind the scenes. After all, Stevenson had openly stated that his jump to 140 pounds wasn't permanent. He made it clear it was a strategic shift, a momentary adjustment, with every intention of returning to reclaim his position at lightweight. So the question becomes unavoidable. If an undefeated champion plans to come back, why strip him at all?
From him, which was $100,000. Now, a lot of you might say, well, 1 second. His last fight wasn't for the WBC, it was for the WBO and the ring title. Why did the WBC want any money from him? The WBC have a clause I think it's either 7.3 or 7.4, yeah, where even if you do not fight for the WBC belt, if you're a champion of their belt, i.e. which Shakur Stevenson was, you have to pay 50% of the sanctioning fee as though the WBC belt was on the line. Does that make sense? Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to find it and read it out to so I'm not paraphrasing, because this is quite important and I think it's a joke. I think it's a joke. I really do. All right. Okay, yeah. All right, rule 7.3. I'm going to put this on the screen as well.
Shakur Stevenson made it abundantly clear that he's a 135-pounder. He's going up in weight just for situational fights. He just defeated 2-division world champion, former unified lightweight, and now former WBO junior welterweight superstar Teofimo Lopez in dominating fashion. He's now 22 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 13 wins by way of knockout. After a beautiful performance, a dominating performance, the WBC, in a rush to do nothing, what he wants to do next. This dude, Shakur, has told the world, I'm 135 pounds. I plan on competing at 135 unless there's a situation that presents itself. You got Lamont Roach, who you elevated to the number 2 fighter in the WBC at 135. Right? Shakur says yesterday, I'm willing to fight Lamont Roach. We're going to make it happen. Right? Not one.
Shakur Stevenson in a 140-pound division. I think there's more attractive fights in the 140-pound division. Because if you would have stood, if you would have gone back to the lightweight division, Muay Thai would probably be the most intriguing matchup. And I don't know if after beating Teofimo Lopez, that I think that would have been going backwards. I believe that the WBO strap that he got right now and the lineage title that he got on is more valuable in the 140-pound division than going back to the 135-pound division. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that he could also petition to be the WBO mandatory to the welterweight champion in the WBO in Devin the Dream Haney. I think that would be an attractive matchup in 2026 following that type of performance versus Teofimo Lopez. Those are the four kings, the Fab Five, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's just better for the sport of boxing. That's better for Shakur Stevenson. And I think that's a very winnable fight right there. We know that Keyshawn Davis is in WBO mandatory position right now in the 140-pound division, but we all know that they're not going to fight. So, we all could keep on asking Keyshawn and Shakur, when you going to fight? Are you going to fight? Both of these guys already saying they're never going to fight again. So, Keyshawn Davis is going to be moving up to the 147-pound division, right? So, unless that Tank was active at 135, that's the only fight that the world want to see at 135 is Shakur versus Tank. We're not gonna see Kid Austin versus Shakur Stevenson at 135. That Shakur, the Kid Austin, he lost that opportunity.